Hey there guys, welcome back to ARTFX Studios and you're watching Bass Design. And this is actually the 7th video already. After today's video you will be able to make sounds like this. So let's get started. In the last week I added some frequency shifting. I also added some more modulation effects such as choruses, flangers, phasers. I did some saturating and I added some vocoding. Now in this week I want to continue on this particular thing and I want to expand this a little bit further. So right now we've got this. And that sounds pretty good, but I want to make it a little bit fatter. I want to add some distortion, which is really going to bring out the depth modulation that's already in the sound right now. So let's get started, and I'm going to see what are we going to add. Let's start with adding some filtering. Why I'm going to do that? Because when you add filters, they're going to take away a part of the sound. So we're going to lose some volume and we're going to lose some frequencies and some harmonics. Then afterwards we can distort the signal again and that will actually bring back some of those lost harmonics, but you still get that filtering kind of sound because of the filters that are before the distortion. So I'm going to add my first filter, which is an auto filter, and I'm going to place it right after the frequency shifter. I'm going to set this one to a notch. That's gonna add some interesting stuff. I can use this LFO if I want. But I don't know. I don't really like the way this LFO works because I'm not really seeing how much modulation I'm adding. You know, I really need to listen to it to make sure that what I'm doing is what I want. While with the Max for Live LFO, it actually gives you a graphic display of the LFO itself. And when I map this to the frequency, like so, you can actually see the frequency moving. And I think that's pretty helpful. So I'm gonna drop the rate down to something slow. And let's bring the depth down. So now I can see that it's going to about this small range right now, and I can bring the offset up to bring it up into the high frequency range. And when I now sync this to, let's say, a 1, maybe a 1/2, we're now getting modulation in the high frequencies. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to group this in an audio effect rack. And I can now open up the chains. So I'm going to call this chain high notch. And no, the notch is not high. I'm now going to duplicate this. And the second one, I'm gonna change this a little bit. Let's bring the offset down to somewhere in the low mids, and let's listen to how that sounds. Okay, that sounds interesting. I can play around with the phase. Yeah, that sounds cool. And I can change the rate to something faster if I want. Or slower. I think 1/2. is pretty cool. I can, however, if I want, change the waveform. Now I'm might check out a triangle, but I like the sine. Gives it a little bit more of a natural feeling. And if I bring up the jitter, you can see it starts to move around a little bit. And then I bring up the smooth, so it just gives it a little bit of randomized character. And, you know, I like that. So, together, they sound quite interesting. So let's put an EQ8 on both layers, and I'm gonna high pass these. So let's copy that one and put it right there. And I'm going to call this low notch. And now I'm going to add another chain right at the bottom. And I'm gonna call that sub. And I'm going to low pass this like that. And now I basically have just my plain sub kind of sound. And I can throw a saturator on here just to add some harmonics to that sub. And now together with the other two, I'm going to I'm going to low pass this at 120, I think. Get a little bit more sub that way. And I'm going to set this to 120 as well. And that one as well. Yeah, that sounds better. Now I'm gonna add one more thing. I want to add a new plugin that I've got. It's by Sugar Bytes. Now, a lot of you guys know Sugar Bytes for their Wow filter. And definitely Wow filter is really good filter plugin. And also a really good distortion plugin. But I've actually got Wow 2 now. So I'm going to drag this into my audio effect rack. And I'm going to call this one Wow 2. I'm then going to add an EQ8 after the Wow filter. I'm not going to do anything to the EQ yet. I'm going to solo the Wow filter and let's listen to how it sounds. Okay. I can now, if I want, take one of the presets. You know, that might work. And I can play around with that. But I want to do it in my own way, so let's see. I want to have an initialized patch with an LFO. And I'm gonna set the... Let's set this to a notch filter. So now you can see we've got a notch filter going on. And I'm going to send the LFO to the notch. So let's see how that sounds. Okay, that's interesting. We can see now we've got a rate of 1/3. So I can drag this and it becomes faster. I can drag it to here and it becomes slower. Okay, let's bring up the resonance a little bit. I'm gonna lose a lot of power with this, but this particular plugin is only going to provide, well, it's a little bit more filtery kind of sound. Right here, you've got the vowel mode settings that you probably know from Wow 1. So when I click this little mouth-shaped button, it basically turns on the vowel filter. Let's play around with this. Okay. I'm going to let's set this one to this one, and I'm gonna add the LFO to there as well. Just a little bit. So it's doing that. Then I can set this to an I. Let's do that. You can very, very faintly start hearing this now. You can hear the difference, so it's definitely adding some vowel character. But it's not really sounding the way I want it yet. Okay, so the mid-clear function sounds pretty good. And right now we've got our distortion knob right here. So let's bring that up a little bit. And that's really doing something. So let's change this. Yeah, now it's becoming a little bit better. Yeah. Another cool thing about the new Vowel filter is that when you click this triangle button, you get a whole bunch of different distortion types. So I got parabolic. Sounds very high frequency, a little bit noisy, I guess. Then we've got the hyperbolic, which is much more heavy in the low end, as you can hear. Then we've got diabolic, which is, I guess, even louder. Yeah, that totally destroys your sound. Then we've got sine. Whoa, that sine is actually doing some interesting stuff as well. Yeah, that sounds cool. And then we've got one bit. That's interesting. Then we've got crush. You know, you can totally crush the sound. And we've got digitize, which is your plain bit crusher kind of thing. Now I think I like the sine one. Or the hyperbolic. Definitely sine. Let's do it like that. Now we've got the dry wet right here. So I can take it down a little. I actually like it a lot with the dry wet all the way up, or at least close to all the way up, so I'm gonna keep it right here. And now it's time to, let's see, high pass this at 120, no, 120, and just that sounds interesting. Let's boost the highs a little bit. And let's mix this in with the other ones. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to take these three and bring their volumes down. I can't do that all at the same time. Okay. So we lose a little bit of volume, and that is because the filters are actually taking out different things. We're also getting more movement and more vowel-like filtering, vowel-like kind of sound. I mean, that wow filter is really adding a lot. I can check it out with the dry wet all the way up. Yeah, that sounds much better. Let's bring the drive up a little bit. Yeah, I like this. Definitely a lot. Let's see. Let's add another plugin. I'm gonna add Isotopes Ozone. No, I'm gonna add Isotope Trash. And I'm gonna add that after the audio effect rack. So let's close that rack down, and then I've got Isotope Trash. I'm gonna turn on everything except for the trash part. And I'm gonna set this to Multiband. Leaves us with that. Let's add a little bit of tape saturation to the subs. A little bit. And let's mute the other two bands. Sounds good. Then I'm gonna go to the low mids, or the mids. Good. It's at the highs. So we went from this to this. Sounds okay. Let's drop this in front of flanger, or after the flanger. Sounds good. I like that. I have a post filter. So by doing that, we get quite a lot of interesting stuff. Okay, I'm getting quite happy with this sound, but let's add another layer of distortion. I'm gonna add camel fat to this, and I'm gonna add that right here. Clear this preset, turn on distortion tab, and let's just bring up the tube a little bit. Let's just do that. Becoming a little bit harsh in the high frequencies, so I'm gonna take out some of these highs. Sounding okay. Like that. Okay, so the trash module is really fucking things up. Let's take it out. Let's just stick with this. Add a EQ. Okay. Let's see. Okay, well that sounds pretty interesting. Let's close this all down. And right now we've got a really long effects chain, as you can see. I'm so stupid. Literally, I'm really stupid right now. I have a separate sub. So that means I can just take this out entirely. And I can even take out these EQs on all of these. Except for that one, because that one has quite some EQing going on. And then just take this one and high pass this at 120. Yeah, that makes a ginormous difference. Let's add a filter to this, set it to a notch. LFO to there, bring the depth down, bring this one down to 1/2. Bring the mix down a bit. I don't need that much distortion. Just a little bit. That is much better. So now we end up with that. We have a separate sub. And that is it. So what I would now do, most likely, is export this to a audio file. So then I can do a couple of different things with that audio file. I can load it into Ableton, chop it up, reverse it, chop it up, rearrange it, and create an interesting bass line from that. Or I can process this further, for instance, through something such as Harmor or Cyclop by Sugarbyte. You can then basically just load it in, and it's, well, sort of like gonna re-synthesize the sound. And with that, you can then add tons of different things. So, in the next bass design video, I'm thinking about what I want to do. I had this plan to do a really interesting video of me just experimenting with music production. And I'm really aiming at experimenting with sound design and sound processing. So it's not going to be a video where I'm going to be talking constantly, and it's more of like going to be a video of me just doing things and just experimenting with music and with sound design and sound processing. And those, are mainly the days when I come up with a really interesting sound. So I've been thinking about doing this, and you know, I might even live stream that, but I'm just trying to find out how to do the whole live streaming thing. Now, what I want to know from you is, are you interested in seeing a 1 hour or a 2 hour video of me just experimenting with sound design and processing? And, you know, not just talking constantly, but really just spending a lot of time trying to come up with things and, you know, just make interesting stuff. So let me know if you're interested in a video like that, and I'll try to do a video about it, you know? If you have any questions regarding this video, please post them in the comment below, and I'll try to get back at you as soon as possible. If there's a question that really requires an in-depth answer, or you want to have some fun at a forum, and you actually want to talk to me directly, then I really advise you to go to my website. The link to the website is always in the description below this video, and on that website you can find a forum about music production. On that forum I am actively posting every single day, and I'll respond by giving you feedback or by giving you tips on how to improve your music. So if you really want to dive into it and have some chat about music in general, then just come to my forum and I'll definitely be able to talk to you. On that forum you can also do a lot of other stuff. You can, for instance, talk to other members, and maybe you can even do some collaborations with other members if you want to. And to make it all a lot better, all of you guys who are familiar with the ARTFX Studios website probably know that the website was, well, kinda big. You know, it was really, the loading times of the website were not that good. But in the last week, you might notice that there were not 5 or 3 videos in this past week, but that was because I was redesigning the website. So I basically redesigned the entire site, including the forum, and 1, to be quite honest, I think it looks much better. 2, the page loading times have improved a lot. I mean, I tested the speed of my last website, and the homepage, which is of course really heavy page to load because it has a lot of stuff, but that page took about 31 seconds to load completely. I tested the new homepage, and that homepage loaded completely within 7.1 seconds. So that's a really big improvement. The forum has improved just as well. The forum now actually works perfectly fine on mobile devices, so it works on tablets and Android phones, and even on your iPhone or whatever. So you can just now post on the forum without actually sitting behind your computer. And I find myself posting a lot more now, because I'm able to do this on my phone as well. So yeah, if you want to be a part of this all, if you want to be a part of the website, be a part of the forum, and have some chatting with me, then come to my website at www.artfx-studios.com. And if you need, you can also go to the description, and there will be a link to the website. So yeah, I think that was it for this video, and I hope to see you back in the next bass design. And let me know in the comment below if you're interested in seeing me experimenting with sound design. Peace!